Wide receivers. So it's interesting that both Pettis and Richie James Jr. made the team. Throughout the offseason, I think a lot of us were looking at it thinking maybe both of them would get cut. Like, well, they signed Travis Benjamin for a reason and they really like Jalen Hurd. It'd be interesting to know what would have happened if Jalen Hurd had stayed healthy. Would they have kept Dante Pettis? Would they have kept Richie James? I think they would have kept Richie James. He seems to be their returner. Pettis seems like he's like on his ninth life, to use a cat metaphor. He got a little lucky this offseason. He did step up, played better than last year. But I think if Hurd stayed healthy, he might have gotten cut. They would have had to find a way to keep him as a seventh wide receiver. So he lucked out a little bit. It's a decent group. But I do think it's going to be something that they use Deebo Samuel a lot, and then they'll have to kind of rotate other people in. I mean, until Brandon Ayuk shows he's a legit consistent starter, I don't think they're going to use him that way. So they'll have Deebo Samuel, and then they'll have a rotation of Kendrick Bourne, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Taylor, basically, for different, situations. And what they could do is use not that many wide receivers this year. This year could be the year they go one wide receiver sets a lot. And I think it makes sense. If you're a run-first team, what are your wide receivers doing for you if they're not great wide receivers? Bring in some pass catchers who block also. You can do more. Seems to fit the identity of the offense. So it's a young group. All these guys are like second or third year players. It's basically Deebo Samuel and everyone else until Ayuk proves himself. A talented group, but probably the group with the most to prove on the entire team. The fact that Dante Pettis backed his way onto this roster says everything you know about the wide receivers on the Niners. Very few of them have achieved anything in the league. Really. Deebo Samuel and Kendrick Bourne are the only two. Trent Taylor hasn't done much since 2017. So lots to prove here. The Niners really need to be the Super Bowl team they want to be. One of these young guys has to step up. One of them has to. It could be Bourne. It could be Ayuk. It could be Pettis. But someone has to become a 1,000-yard receiver to complement Deebo, I think. Because the teams the Niners are competing with have multiple threats like this. 3, 4 guys.